and welcome to you all to this session. This is the chapter number 2, video number 2. The topics discuss the topics are going to discuss in this video is first topic is a perpetual motion machine of first kind, and second topic is corollaries of first law of thermodynamics. Next is the limitations of first law of thermodynamics. Fourth one is a brief introduction about the control volume and steady flow process. We see one by one. Perpetual motion machine of first kind is a perpetual motion machine of first kind is a cyclically operating a device which delivers a work without requiring any interaction with the surroundings. That means if we consider this is a system, which will delivers a work continuously without interacting with the surroundings. The meaning of this type of machine is that it will keep on continuing giving the work without any interaction with the surroundings. Such a machine is called as a perpetual motion machine of first kind. But according to the first law of thermodynamics, for cyclically operating, if any system is cyclically operating, first let the first law of thermodynamics for a process that cyclically operating is equal to the dq minus of dw. This is the first law of thermodynamics for a cyclic process. Okay, first law of thermodynamics for a cyclic process, energy change in energy is zero. Why? Because this is a cyclically operating, so delta E is 0. Now delta Q, it is not interacting with the surroundings. No interaction means there is no heat transfer take place. Okay, no, it is not interacting with the surroundings, so it becomes 0. So dW is also 0. That becomes network is 0. Okay, such a conditions, the producing work of such a devices will be 0. So such a devices not exist. Okay, not exist. Okay, perpetual motion machine. Okay, now I think it is enough for you. Finally, in a simple way, perpetual motion machine of first kind means a system will deliver a continuous supply of work without interacting with the surroundings. Such a system is giving continuous supply of the work. It is not possible. Why? Because first law gives a general definition, a general principle that the energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Okay, it cannot be created and cannot be destroyed. It only can transform from one form to the another form. Okay, so it is not, it means according to this mission it delivers keep on producing the work, means it is producing or creating a energy. According to this definition, the system is creating a energy, so only it can be continuously give the work. Why? Because it is not interacting with the surroundings. So according to the first law of thermodynamics of energy conservation law, it does not exist. Why? Because it is a work is a form of energy is continuously giving without any interaction with the surroundings. Okay, energy according to the first law, it is not possible. It is impossible. It is impossible of perpetual motion machine of first kind. Okay, we will move to the second topic. According to the first law of thermodynamics, there are so many important consequences. That consequences are stated in the form of the corollaries of the first law of thermodynamics. The first corollary is that for a process for any process there exists a property E such that the change in this property is equal to the change of heat transfer and change of work transfer. The first corollary of the first law of thermodynamics is that there exists if there is a process, there exists a property called E. E is the energy. That value can be calculated that the change in this energy is equal to the difference between the heat transfer and work transfer, where E is the total energy, total energy, which includes internal energy U and potential energy and kinetic energy, electrical energy and chemical energy and magnetic energy and etc. all type of energy may includes or may not include. If any one is it's purely depends upon that a particular process is involving that. If the particular process, if the system is changing from state 1 to state 2, there exists a process from 1 to 2. So there exists a process 1 to 2, a q amount of heat is supplied and it works a w amount of work. Okay, at this time the internal stored energy is the internal energy stored, that is the change in that energy is that this is the energy. Such a type of consequences are given from the first law of thermodynamics that we taken as a first corollary of the thermodynamics. Next corollary of the second corollary of the thermodynamics is about for an isolated system. For an isolated system, energy is constant. That is the no change in the energy. Energy is the constant inside. Energy is the constant for an isolated system. Energy is constant. This is the second corollary of the first law of thermodynamics. Why? Because for the name itself is an isolated system. We earlier videos in the class we discussed about that, we know the previous knowledge that isolated system means no energy interactions with the surroundings. No energy interactions with the surroundings take place. Such a system is called as an isolated system. Okay, if there is from the first law of thermodynamics we know that the change in energy is equal to the dq minus dw. If there is no heat transfer or work transfer, such that the change in energy is 0. From this sequence is stated that this is the second corollary of the first law of thermodynamics, that is the isolated system the energy is constant. I think it is clear. Energy is constant for an isolation. Name itself isolated system is no energy interactions, so there is a no word of the heat and work. So we can write such a way we can tell. Next is the third corollary of the first law of the thermodynamics is the perpetual motion is impossible. Perpetual motion of first kind, it does not exist or it is impossible. The third corollary of the thermodynamics is the perpetual motion of first kind is impossible. Earlier we discussed about the perpetual motion of first kind. Perpetual motion of first kind is that the system can do continuous work without any energy interaction with the surroundings. Such a systems are called as a machines are called as a perpetual motion of the first kind. From the first law of thermodynamics, it tells that it gives a general statement that the energy conservation of energy cannot be created nor be destroyed. It can only transfer from one form to another, but it is without taking from any, it gives, that means it is generating, it is keep on generating the energy. That is the violation of the first law of thermodynamics. So it, such a systems are not exist. So we can tell perpetual motion of the first kind is impossible. That is also the consequence of the first law of thermodynamics. Okay, these three are the important corollaries of the first law of thermodynamics. First law, okay, first corollary is that there exists a property energy E such that the change in that property is equal to the difference between the heat transfer and work transfer. Next, the second corollary of this is that for an isolated system, energy is constant. Energy is constant. A third corollary of the first law of thermodynamics is that perpetual motion is does not exist. You can say it is impossible. Okay, we'll move to the next topic, that is the limitations of first law of thermodynamics. Now the topic is limitations of first law of thermodynamics. The first law, we can take the first limitation of first law of thermodynamics as that the first law does not say anything about the whether the process is possible or not. It does not give any information particular process is possible or not. A fuel can be converted into the, with the fuel we can convert fuel as a work, but in reverse it cannot possible. But as such a information is not said by the first law of thermodynamics. This is the first limitation. The second limitation is that if it is process is possible, whether it is can be done its own or not, does not give any information about the a process can be done on its own or not. Such a ice can be on its own can be converted into the water, but water cannot be converted into the ice on its own. This is the second limitation. The third limitations of the first law of thermodynamics is that any sufficient conditions is necessary for take place a process like that. Here, suppose if the high temperature body 1 and low temperature of a body, if the heat transfer to take place, there should be exist a condition of that a temperature difference. If there is a temperature difference exist, the heat transfer take place. Such a sufficient conditions, it does not give any sufficient conditions to take place a process. This is the three limitations of the first law of thermodynamics. The next topic in this video is about a control volume. Open system. We know the open system. When there is a mass transfer across the system boundary, the system is called as a open system. Most of the engineering devices involves the open type systems only. Okay. Suppose consider a turbine. Consider a steam, a turbine, there is a high pressure steam is entering at section 1, and this high pressure steam is works upon a turbine rotor blades, and turbine will rotate and it will generates energy. Okay, and this low pressure steam is exhaust pipe. It leaves at exhaust pipe. So here is a expansion process is occurring in the steam and turbine. If we want to analyze the expansion process, it can be done by two methods. A first method is that First we focus upon a certain quantity of the matter, a certain quantity of a matter, and we follow this matter, and whatever the energy interactions are taken, we take into the account, and finally we analyze. Such a process is a Lagrange's approaches, and also called as a this is a control mass system. Another way, instead of the concentrating certain quantity of matter, certain quantity of moving matter, we focus upon a certain fixed region in the space to analysis of the control, to analysis of the expansion process. This is the second approach called as a control volume method. It is very convenient method to analysis of the thermodynamic process. Not only expansion process, whatever the devices for the analysis, we use the control volume method. Next topic is the steady flow process. Okay, the topic is about the steady flow. A simple way. Suppose this is a system. A water is flowing here. I am dividing a cross sections, a cross section 1 and cross section 2 and cross section 3. At the cross section 1, the fluid properties are pressure P1, maybe the velocity V1 are the properties of the fluid. If the velocity of at this cross section is 1 meter per second, and at cross section 2 is the 1 meter per second, is the V3 is the 4 meter per second. Let if the properties are such a way that if the at cross section 1, all the properties at the cross section 1, if it is constant, whatever the properties at the cross section is the constant, it may be a constant after the next cross section or next position may be the same, it does not matter, but at that cross section at that particular time, all the properties should be the constant. Then we say it is a steady flow process. In the definition way, steady flow means that the rate of flow of mass and energy across a control surface are a constant. That is a steady flow process. Suppose at a time 1, the fluid is moving this way. At a time 2, the fluid is maybe this way. This indicates that this velocity is 5 meter per second. This velocity is a 6 meter per second at a time 2. But entire the cross section are the properties are the same. It may be differ with the time, but at a time 1, all the properties should be the constant. Whatever the properties, pressure, velocity, all the properties of the fluid at that instant of time, it should be the uniform. Okay, such a condition we can tell a steady flow. If the process involves in such a steady flow process, we can write it is a steady flow process. In detail we will discuss in the next upcoming video. Thank you.